USA and Japan conducted military drill Keen Sword 2019. The USS Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group participated in a series of air defense exercises with the U.S. Air Force and the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force in support of Keen Sword 2019. The strike group conducted 3, progressively more complex, air-to-air combat exercises with the JMSDF over the course of 3 days. Japan and the United States have mobilized 57,000 sailors, Marines and airmen for the biennial Keen Sword exercise, 11,000 more than in 2016, with simulated air combat, amphibious landings and ballistic missile defense drills. Japan's contingent of 47,000 personnel represents a fifth of the nation's armed forces. We are here to stabilize and preserve our capability should it be needed. Exercises like Keen Sword are exactly the kind of thing we need to do, Rear Admiral Carl Thomas, the commander of the Carrier Strike Group, said during a press briefing aboard the Reagan as F-18 fighter jets catapulted off the flight deck above him. 8 other ships joined the carrier for anti-submarine warfare drills in a show of force in waters that Washington and Tokyo fear will increasingly come under Beijing's influence. The U.S.-Japan alliance is essential for stability in this region and the wider Indo-Pacific, Rear Admiral Hiroshi Egawa, the commander of the Japanese ship, said aboard the Reagan, based in Yokosuka near Tokyo. It is the biggest U.S. warship in Asia, with a crew of 5,000 sailors and around 90 F-18 Super Hornets fighters. A Canadian naval supply ship is also taking part in Keen Sword along with the frigate that sailed with the Reagan on Saturday. Canadian participation is taking a bilateral drill which began in 1986. Canada's defense attaché in Japan, Captain Hughes Kenewell, said in Tokyo, "Participation in Keen Sword," he added, "reflects Canada's desire to have a military presence in Asia." Canada is not the only Western nation looking to take a bigger security role in the region. Britain and France are also sending more ships as China's military presence in the South China Sea grows and its influence over the Indo-Pacific and its key trade routes expands. Growing foreign interest in Asian security, including North Korea's development of nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles, coincides with greater Japanese willingness to back up its regional diplomacy with a show of military muscle. Tokyo this year sent its biggest warship, the Kaga helicopter carrier, on a 2-month tour of the Indo-Pacific, including flag-waving stops in the Philippines, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India and Singapore. The 248-meter-long Maritime Self-Defense Force ship and its 2 destroyer escorts also conducted drills with the Japanese submarine in the contested South China Sea. At the same time, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has engaged China in dialogue to reduce tension between their militaries in the East China Sea and to increase economic cooperation between Asia's 2 leading economies. Amid a background of trade friction with Washington, Abe last month traveled to Beijing, the first such trip by a Japanese leader in 7 years, for talks with President Xi Jinping and Premier Li Keqiang. Abe told them that China and Japan shared responsibility for regional security, including tackling North Korea. Japan, however, still views China as a potentially much larger and more challenging foe than Pyongyang as its expanding navy consolidates control of the South China Sea and ventures deeper into the Western Pacific and Indian Ocean. Beijing this year plans to spend $160 billion on its armed forces, more than 3 times as much as Japan and about a third of what the U.S. pays for a military that helps defend the Japanese islands.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you like the channel and want to support, please support on Patreon or PayPal. The details are given below in the description.